Hey, BookTube Sean here, and today I want to do my my July TBR MBR. You guys know I'm not good at sticking to a TBR, but I got an ambitious list of books here that I'd like to try and get to this month. So let's just get into it. One of the things I want to try and do this month is one of my goals this year was to not be so ADD with reading, and I haven't been very successful with that, especially lately. My June wrap up, when I do it, or when you see it, will be fairly short because I only read 3 books in June, and one of them was audio. I just haven't been reading a lot lately, and part of the problem is that I've been very unfocused. I just keep picking up random things and starting them. So I want to try in July, excuse me, to cut down the number of books I'm reading at one time. Usually I'm reading 6 to 10 books at a time, and that's ridiculous. It's no wonder I don't finish anything. So I want to try and cut that way down, and hopefully in July have no more than 3 books on the go at one time that I'm actively reading. I thought about trying to just start reading just one book at a time. But with some buddy reads that I got going on, I don't think that's going to be it's not going to be possible. So that's why I decided on 3, so that way I could have 2 buddy reads going on at one time and still a book that I need to read, either that I just want to read or I need to read because it was sent to me. So with that in mind, what I would like to read in July, and I'm looking at a list that's on my computer over here, because I did this while I was at work, because I didn't have a ton to do today. So the first thing on my list is The Power by Naomi Alderman, and I've already started this. I'm about 47 pages, I think 47 pages into this. I started this last night, July 1st. This was last year's Women's Prize winner. And it is about women who suddenly get the ability to control electricity, basically, and how they kind of take over from men with this power. And it is the book for the Discord Booktube server book club that James Chatham, the Discord server James Chatham started. We do a monthly book club in there, and I don't often get to participate, but I happen to already own the book that was picked for this month, and I've been wanting to read it, so I started it yesterday. So that is one I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try and stick with that one. A buddy read I have going on, and possibly another buddy read that might be starting soon, or one other, or maybe try to finish up something I've had in process for a while. Another book for a BookTube book club that I want to get to, check this out from the library, is A Kind of Freedom by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. This is Russell at Ink and Paper blog. For the first 6 months of the year, and I started participating in it. I read the first book. He did an Around the World in 1,000 Pages book club where for the first 6 months of the year, he read one book from each of the 6 continents that has living authors in it. And the first book of that was The Changeling by Victor Laval, which I read, and then I fell off. Well, for the last 6 months of this year, he is doing another book club. He wanted to keep that thing going, and this is going to be debut books you might have missed. So in the first book, the July book for that is A Kind of Freedom by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. I don't know a ton about what this is about, but when I read the description on Amazon, it sounded interesting, and he described it really well, and in a way that intrigued me. Russell is largely responsible in his book hauls for shortening my pocketbook occasionally, because he just picks out a lot of good books. So I'm hoping I can stick on with these 6 months, because all the books sound interesting. The last one I own, the one for December, Sleeping Giants, which I have gone back and forth at getting to and then abandoning. So hopefully that'll entice me to actually finish that book. But so yeah, I want to get to this month and try and join in on that book club. This is gonna get really piled up if I keep doing that. I'm currently doing a buddy read with Stephanie at That's What She Read. We have a perpetual buddy read going on. If you subscribe to both of us, you just heard her talk about it in a video. But we just have a lot of the same books we want to read. So and we both got this arc from NetGalley and decided to read it together. And it is Bad Man by Dathan Auerbach. And as much as I know about it is what I've read so far, and the character Ben, his little brother Eric, goes missing in a supermarket when Eric is 3 years old, and then the book picks up 5 years later, and Ben is still searching for Eric, and it seems there may possibly be some supernatural stuff going on. This is a horror novel, so I'm just curious right now to see what the horror elements of it are going to be. I really went into this one absolutely blind. I knew nothing about it. I just knew the author a little bit by reputation from his book Pen Pal, which is a bunch of creepypasta stories that he strung together into a narrative. So this is really his first outing. This is really his first full novel that has not coming from something else. So we'll see how that goes. But we're currently reading that right now, and then I'll have a review of that when we finish that. I'll have a review of that one going up closer to the publication date of it, which is in August. And actually, just before I started filming, Stephanie sent me a message that she was starting another buddy read that we're going to do, because her Kindle is charging. And we both own the physical version of this that was sent to us by Word Horde, and that is Corpse Paint by David Peake. And this is described as a black metal horror novel. This is about a legendary black metal band that goes to and I'm 96 pages into this. It goes into the Ukraine to record their next album with another black metal band, onto their compound to record the album, which is hoping to be his comeback album. And the other black metal band is into some really black shit. Where I'm at, they've really just gotten to the compound, and things will be picking up soon, because it's not a long book, and I'm almost halfway through it, I would say, at the 96 page mark. So I think Stephanie just started it tonight, and so I'm kind of going to wait for her to catch up to me, and then we're going to finish this one off together too. So look, there will be a review coming from me on that one, hopefully within the next week or two. There'll be a review video of that one. Another buddy read that I may have going on, Julie at A Girl in a Book. If you subscribe to her, and if you don't, you should. Just posted her first video after a while today. She just did a move to Colorado, so she's gotten through her move and stuff, and she contacted me and wanted to read something together. So I think we're still kind of deciding what we're going to read, but it looks like it might be Night Shadow, the second book in the Greatcoat series. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I loved the first book of the Greatcoat series by Sebastian de Castell, and I've been looking forward to getting the second book. And after both of us had read the first book, we kind of decided we were going to continue the series together. So that was the last communication with her was, hey, why don't we do let's do Night Shadow, and I haven't heard back at time of filming. I haven't heard back from her indefinite on that yet. But there'll be, if it's not that, I will be reading something with Julie this month. Another book I want to try and get to, like I said, this is going to be an ambitious TBR. And like I said, you know me, it's actually an MBR. This is all. A lot of this might be read. I do have a fair amount of time this month. My wife is in a production of Young Frankenstein this month, and she's at rehearsal right now. She's at rehearsal 4 or 5 nights a week right now until the show goes up, and then she's got the show for 3 weekends. But next week, like this week, she's off. She has the 4th of July and then Saturday off, and then starting Sunday, she's Sunday through Saturday, because they go into Hell Week for the show, and then it opens a week from this Thursday, and then runs for 3 weekends. So I had a lot of evenings to myself. There is another hobby I kind of started, which I will talk about in my June favorites video. So a little teaser for that. I started another hobby that I've been enjoying. So keep an eye out for my June's favorite to learn what that is. But you've seen this on my videos a few times. It's Murder in Little Shendon by A.H. Richardson. This is a mystery novel. I was sent this by the author, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, and I need to, because the same publicist who hooked me up with this author hooked me up with a book from another author that I need to get to, and I've got some other books coming in that I will need to get to, and I've got some NetGalley stuff that I need to get to. So I've got a lot of things I need to read and review coming up. So I need to get on it. So I want to hopefully get to this one this month, and maybe I'm not even going to put the other one on my TBR, but if I get through this one this month, I may start the other one. And what's next on my list? I've been really kind of craving reading Strange the Dreamer. The last copy I showed you guys was a library copy. I got my own. Consider this my book haul too, because this is really the only physical book that I got this month. I thought I was gonna get another one, but it hasn't come. It hasn't come in the mail yet, so it'll be part of July book hauls. But I don't need to go into much explanation of this. This is all over BookTube. This is a BookTube, what a lot of people call a BookTube darling. But since I learned that I might be into this, I've really kind of been craving reading it. So I want to try and get to this, at least start it, at least get started at least halfway through it this month or something, and maybe carry it over into August. I don't know, but I am really craving reading this. Next on my list, Elliot Brooks over on her channel is doing a month-long read-along for The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. And I hadn't really looked too much into it in my library receipt. I just checked this out of the library today. And I finally looked into the book today and read the description of it, and it sounded really intriguing. It is a girl. I don't want to spend the time reading the entire thing, but I know it's a girl who goes into this military school, and there's an ongoing war, and I mean, it says they trained her for a war. She intends to end it. But yeah, she has some sort of powers that are going to come into play. You know what? I'm just going to read it because I've been stumbling over it. Hopefully, maybe I'll edit that stumbling out. We'll see how I feel about editing. When Rin and the Keiju, the empire-wide test when Rin aced the Keiju, the empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to study at the academies, it was a shock to everyone, to test officials who couldn't believe a war orphan from Rooster Province could pass anything without cheating. To Rin's guardians, who always thought they'd be able to marry Rin off to further their criminal enterprise, and to Rin herself, who realized she was now finally free of the servitude and despair that had made up her daily existence, that she got into Singard, the most elite military school in the Nakara Empire, was even more surprising. But surprises aren't always good. Being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not an easy thing at Singard. Rin is targeted from the outset by rival classmates because of her color, poverty, and gender. Driven to desperation, she discovers she possesses a lethal, unearthly power and aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. Exploring the depths of her gift with the help of a seemingly insane teacher and psychoactive substances, Rin learns that gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that mastering control over her powers could mean more than just surviving school. For even though the Nakara Empire is at peace, the Federation of Mugen still lurks across a narrow sea. The militarily advanced Federation occupied the Nakara Empire for decades after the First Poppy War, and only barely lost the continent in the second. And while most of the people in the Empire would rather forget their painful history, a few are aware that a third Poppy War is just a spark away. Rin's shamanic powers may be the only way to save her people, but as she finds out more about the god who has chosen her, the vengeful Phoenix, she fears that winning the war may cost her her humanity, and it may already be too late. So the lesson I just learned here is, don't try to stumble through an explanation when I don't know jack about what the book is about. Just read the fucking description. So, that's the Poppy War. I checked this book out from the library, 10 Dead Comedians by Fred Van Lente. I came across this one. This is a mystery. It seems like it's going to be kind of a mystery comedy kind of thing, and plays off of the format of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. But these 10 comedians go to a deserted island, and then one by one they start dying. And then, got to figure out who's killing them off. But I came across this because Stephanie, in one of her last videos, was talking about a novel by this author called The Con Artist that sounded really cool. And I'm gonna actually end up. I gotta do it soon. Because it comes out on the 10th. But I decided I wanted to pre-order that because that one sounded so cool to me. It sounded like just this huge geek fest, which I'm all on board for. And then I discovered he had another novel, and this one sounded good too. So I checked it out from the library, and we'll see if I get to it. The only other things that I have on here is the graphic novel The Best We Could Do by Thi Bui. That was on my Reading Women Challenge, TBR, and I read part of it, but I wasn't reading a lot last month, so it ended up, Hoopla took it back, and I rechecked it out. So I'd like to finish that this month, because that clears like 4 items off of the Reading Women's Challenge. And I started that late, like very late, so I'd like to knock out some categories on that. And the other thing, I just kind of started considering it today because I just learned in the past day or two that this was going on. Krista at Books and Jams, she has a Goodreads group, and I will try to link it in the description below. And the book they are reading this month is The Lake House by Kate Morton, and Kate Morton is an author I keep hearing about through BookTube, so I am interested in checking her out. Some of her books sound like something I might like. I know the Lake House is one of her biggest, and I can get the book on Scribed. So if I have the space and the time and I want to get to it I can get to it, this might be a good opportunity to check out Kate Morton, because I hear so much about her on BookTube that I'm curious. So that's it. That is my July TBR, MBR, most people do a TBR in 7 minutes. I take 20. But anyway, let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought. What are you reading in July? Connect with me in the comments. Hook up with me on social media. All my links are below. Thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new here, I hope you like this. I hope you stick around. Hit the subscribe button so you know when I post new videos, and I'll see you all in the next video.